I don't know why they gave us the tiny room for this. This is like the best panel at MAGFest. In fact, it's such a great panel that we're going to use the slides from the... oh, no, sorry. We're going to use slides from opening ceremonies.
Check. Check one. Check. Check 1, 2.
There's plenty of seats up front. We don't bite unless you ask. That whole consent thing.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to closing ceremonies. Boo. Yay. One of my volunteers kept telling me that he was really sad because he kept hearing individuals doing it and getting no response. So thank you guys for indulging me with that. All right. If you didn't hear me before, I said I didn't have a slideshow for this, so we're just using the opening ceremony slideshow. It's mostly the same stuff, I think. The difference is just put ED on the end of everything. MAGFest Ed. There you go. So this panel is for like 2.5 hours. I will certainly not be here this long. We combine this just for quick notes. We're going to talk for maybe like 20 minutes as like closing ceremonies, and then we're going to go right into this thing called the feedback panel, where basically you can give us comments, criticisms. You can tell us how much you love us, how much you hate us, and we'll have a whole process for that. But apart from that, there's nothing like really formal or anything about this. I'm really glad that you guys are all here. Just if you're coming in from the back, feel free. There's chairs on this side. There's chairs up towards the front. You don't have to sit down, or you don't have to stand if you don't want to. If you are kind of sitting on one of this edge, maybe consider scooting over a few seats. Yeah, just kind of make some room for the folks who are piling in.
Do you do introductions?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just real quick, my name is Josiah. I am one of the volunteer coordinators here at MAGFest. I am responsible for the team of like 1,800 people that are ultimately responsible for putting on this event. And I'm so happy you're all here. We're gonna start going left to right and do some introductions, starting right over here.
My name is Colette Fazard, and I am the venue liaison for MAGFest to the Gaylord and all of our overflow hotels.
And my name is Mark Bernan. I'm Department Head of Tech Ops, and we deploy a lot of things behind the scenes here at the event. So you've probably seen, our panel rooms that we set up and tech across the event. So a lot of the behind the scenes plumbing.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrick. I am one of the heads of the panels department, so if you were in this room at any point during the event, I'm part of the reason for it. So thanks for coming out, guys.
So, just quick question: who is this? Is this your first time at a MAGFest event? All right, give me just by show of thumbs, thumbs up or thumbs down. Did you enjoy the event this year? Okay, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot. Okay, let me count thumbs down.
Good.
Oh.
That's a 100% success rate. Okay.
All
right, we're out. We're just
caveat to
gonna end
that.
on that.
We're done,
First
yeah.
con ever.
You guys clearly have no. Oh my God! I just spat over my laptop. You guys clearly have no notes for us. I'm so glad we can end it here. But no, we'll keep going. What's a MAGFest? We're a 501c3 nonprofit events company. We're dedicated to making the world a better place through video games. If you were here at opening ceremonies, you heard this whole spiel. You can find it on the website at supermag.magfest.org/whatismagfest. This is our 21st event. MAGFest turned
Our 21st MAGFest super event. You
Yes.
might want to talk about some of our other fabulous events.
Yes, we have a lot of other events that we run. Technically, it's our 21st MAGFest Super. It's our 21st year of, or 22nd year of continuous operations. We did miss a year in there, you might notice, due to the Panini. And then, but we have a lot of other events such as MAGWest, MAGStock. MAGWest is our West Coast event in San Jose, California every summer. It's a lovely, lovely event. MAGStock is our early summer camping trip. Basically, if you saw the promo booth that was set up out by the escalators, the person with the tent, Jessie, she was sitting out there all weekend doing promo for us. Did anyone see that booth? All right. Did any of you see that booth and are now interested in going to MAGStock? Okay, good. I am also interested in going to MAGStock. We do a lot of other really cool events like that. And you should, if you enjoyed this event, the same teams that are putting on MAGFest Super are the same teams that are putting on MAGStock and MAGWest. They're just located in different areas and they're happening at slightly different times. Our mission, make it a world better place for video games. I'm just gonna breeze through these real quick. Through that end, we want to promote education, we want to promote video games as art, and we want to make sure that people are having a good time at our events. Everything we do is for the community, it's built for the community, and I hope that you guys experienced that this week when you were here at the event. Everything that we do is because we want to make sure that you are having a good time and that you are able to participate into the community that we're trying to build. And if you had an interaction with somebody that you particularly enjoyed this week, if you met a guest or one of our artists or performers, and you were able to have a great conversation with them, that is 100% the vibe we're going for, of just having an event that is at its very core community focused and built around you all. So I hope you guys truly had a good time with that this year. We have core values. There are values. You can read them online. There's MAGStock. There's MAGWest. There's BitGen, our one-day music festival event. I forgot to mention. Sorry, JD. Happens in Baltimore City, probably like last week of July, usually, the first week of August. And it is really, really fun. That's like 14 hours straight of multiple stages. It is a long day for everyone involved. Once we get through that, usually in opening ceremonies, I go over what I call the 10 rules of MAGFest, which are like my personal suggestions for enjoying the event. So what I would like to do at this point is I would like to ask you guys how you guys participated in the 10 rules of MAGFest. So rule number 1 was go listen to some music. Did you guys go listen to some music? Yeah! How about the Proto Men? Yeah! How about Metroid Metal? How about some of our Jam Space showcases just across the hallway? How about the community orchestra that was playing Saturday morning? There was so much content going on. Belvedere, the Jam Pods, just random hallway stuff going on. I hope you guys had the chance to experience the music and just sit, listen, and enjoy it, participate. Triforce Quartet in the gazebo, that's right. Chip Space? Yeah, I mean, I can't. I could talk for hours about the music that goes on at MAGFest. Cartoon theme songs? All right. Tournament Arc. Oh yeah, Tournament Arc was phenomenal. How about with that set? Did you guys play some games? Yeah! All right. Large tournament collider down in the expo halls where you could do tournaments across our consoles team, our indie arcade team, our MIVs team, and then our arcade team. Did you guys get a chance to check that out? Participate in any of our tournaments? Any of our great events? How about up in our LAN room where PC Gaming was present? Got a chance to do some of that? Tabletop out in the Riverview Ballroom? Yeah. All right, you got to touch at least one of these things. All right, otherwise you're not really a gamer. Okay, I'm allowed to gatekeep this. It's my job. We had also our VR zone that was right outside, kind of the Cherry Blossom room. Do you guys enjoy VR zone? Just asking. Yeah. I know VR can kind of be like a weird hobby to get into or an expensive hobby, and I'm really thrilled that we have the opportunity to just let people try out VR if you haven't had the chance already. So if you have any feedback on that, we'd love to hear about it. So a lot of other gaming stuff. We had the CCG, the card games upstairs. We had Sims that was right across the hallway from there. We had D&D, Pathfinder, everything. Did you guys get a chance to watch some panels? All right.
If you say no, you're lying because this is a panel.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out your favorite panel. Somebody, raise your hand. Sorry, I shouldn't have said it like this. all of you listened to both instructions simultaneously. You raised your hand and then said your favorite panel. Yeah. Raise
Also,
your
if
hand
you-
and then wait for me to just call on you. All right. Yes, sir.
Makerspace and the game shows.
Makerspace in the game shows?
Throwing controllers. Awesome.
Throwing controllers. Okay, yeah. Everyone like throwing controllers? Do you get a chance to go to that panel? All right. Heather.
What did they say at the panel about Eurobeat?
Yeah.
What did they say? Okay. Are you in the back? Black shirt. I'm making eye contact with you. You are not raising your hand? Yeah, you just looked behind you.
Oh, yeah. The Nintendo Music Panel.
I wasn't looking at you, but Nintendo Music Panel.
The one about the importance of archiving old games.
All right, cool. Now, if I make eye contact with you, you get to...
Do you mind if I interject something?
Yeah, go for it.
So, cool feature guidebook. If you went to a panel, you can go to the panel description and give us feedback on whether you like the panel or not.
In fact,
You have the power to schedule MAGFest. Take advantage of it.
In fact, almost all of our content across the event, you can go into Guidebook, you can give us very specific notes about that content. Anything you want to see again, anything that went poorly, please let us know in Guidebook, and we'll fold that in with our schedule next year.
All right. I'm going to take one or two more, okay? You, ma'am?
The Saturday morning sing-along was awesome.
Saturday morning sing-along, okay. And then, I'm sorry, I was very front-focused. How about this side in the back? Yeah, you. Help My Game is on Fire in Tabletop. That's right, we had tabletop panels. We had both panels out here in the main event space, and we also had tabletop-specific panels. Okay. Lots of content. That will all, if you missed any of these panels, over the next couple of months, it'll probably start happening sometime in March, if I had to guess. This content will start rolling out online onto the MAGFest YouTube channel. So if you have the chance, you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. You'll be blasted by video notifications for about a 4-month span, and then you will have access to our entire catalog of panels. Highly recommend, if you missed anything that you wanted to go see, check it out online when they come out.
Who here likes Makerspace? If you enjoy the Makerspace here, you should come to Magstock, where they're out in force. It's one of my favorite things that has become part of Magstock. I highly recommend it.
It's called the Craft Barn at Magstock because it's summer camp. They do pine car derby, they do tie-dye, they do all kinds of arts and crafts. It's really, really cool, like Mark said.
Lots of things that make the Gaylord very sad if we did it on top of their carpet.
All right, how many of you guys learned this sound? I think enough said on that point. How many of you guys picked up some cool merch? How about those swatches this year? Holy shit, those were so cool. Do you guys play the Metroid clone? Yeah.
The legally distinct Vania similar game.
Sure. I'm actually missing
Getting streamed, right?
weapon. I had a little doohickey on the table. This is the doohickey, yes. Apparently our Swag team, they just walked up to me and handed me this. I don't know how many of these exist, but they went ahead, because that's in the shape, your Swag this year is in the shape of our character, our legally distinct character, Cho, her bounty hunter ship. And they also made little tiny Chos that slot into the cockpit of the ship that you can plug into your Swag. I have no idea how many of these they made, but...
That's actually a standard connector used by other con badges. It's the SAO connector. So you can, if you go to other cons, there's all kinds of cool doohickeys you can plug into your badge and code with.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I have no idea how many of these were made. I'm just showing it off because I can brag. I can brag. But on top of that, did you guys go check out the MAGFest merch booth? Yes. Sorry, I shill corporate merch. I'm a terrible, terrible person. But I was, as a human being, I was like genuinely impressed with like the quality of the merch this year. You guys give a huge shout out to our partners with Fangamer for putting that all together. They do hours and hours of work making designs. Specifically the MAGFest branded flat brim hat looks so sick this year, and I'm all about it. But on top of that, we also had our charity booth, which was at the front of Expo C. Did anyone get a chance to check that out? Show of hands. Okay. Did you participate in the raffle? You buy some of the cool stuff?
Get a tattoo?
Get a tattoo. I'll let Colette tell that story if she wants to tell it, but she doesn't want to tell it. Okay. And then also the charity auction. I'm guessing most of you probably came from the charity auction.
They just killed it, guys.
They just killed it again. I think they're looking at like more than $69,000. Did they announce the number?
They said $69,000 before they raffled off the $10,000 final thing for MAGFest.
Cool. So $79,000, give or take. And that should be inclusive of what was raised at MAGFest, our charity live stream that was happening, which happening concurrently with an event like GDQ, raising over $10,000 is really a feat. So give them a huge shout out for the quality of the event they put on. You know, there's a lot of crossover between our staff and GDQ, and you know, the people who were here, they had to give up going to GDQ in some way, shape, or form, and that is kind of a sacrifice for them because that is a huge event in their community, in their space. So really big shout out to our MAGFest team for all they do. Moving right along. Oh, sorry, there's tattoos again. How many of you guys, this is kind of irrelevant. How many of you guys saw a goose? Okay. Did you report it to security? Cool. All right, we all failed this rule. How many of you guys found an unbelievable story? Just something weird in the hallway. Okay, keep your story 10 seconds or shorter, but show of hands. Who would like to tell their story? Okay, you, my friend.
All right, so it was probably like 1 a.m. in the indie arcade zone, and I was looking around at various things, waiting for Ultimate to start, and 15 Among Us characters swarmed the place all at once. Out of nowhere. I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they went.
Okay, Among Us Parade. Got it. Okay. I'm going to go to the back because I ignored them the last time.
Amazing screaming and shouting debate in the soapbox about the Silver Line going as far out as it did. And that it shouldn't exist, apparently. I'm not even from here, so...
Soapbox debate about DC Public Metro. In the soapbox, which, how many of you guys enjoyed the soapbox if you got a chance to go there this year? That is like the quintessential like find weird stories place because it's just a microphone in a box. Like anyone can do whatever they want there. When we first had that room started, I walked in and found like 24 people at 3 in the morning singing "Little Boy Food," which is a song that goes just like this. Little boy food is good for you. Little boy food is big boy food. Little boy food
I'm gonna have to
is
cut
good
you off
for
there.
you. And it just goes on and on and on and on. For like an hour and a half, these guys were singing this.
Kept going. That was that whole weekend.
It was a trope. It like gave us all PTSD. I'll take one more unbelievable story. Okay, you two sitting next to each other, you got to duke it out.
At the MAGFest, they were doing the two-player, one controller for Metal Gear Solid 3. Cynthia Harrell comes into the room, sits down right in front of me, and then sings Snake Eater live when they're climbing up the ladder.
Cynthia Harrell, yeah, she was here as one of our amazing guests, sang Snake Eater on one of the Metal Gear Solid streams, or the Metal Gear Solid speedruns. How many of you guys saw her also perform Snake Eater at the community orchestra on Saturday? Or saw, I believe Marty O'Donnell conducted, oh, are you Marty? Oh, holy shit, hey! I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I believe we got an email. Sorry, I'm remembering this story kind of secondhand. We got an email from you or someone on your team last year asking if you could. Okay. You reached out to us, and I'm so glad that you're able to make it this year.
I've been in this industry a really long time, and mostly on the West Coast, in Seattle, and then I have tons of friends. I've been to GDC 20 years in a row. I was at the first PAX and all the PAX. But I think might have been Austin Wintory or something mentioned something about this. And I looked it up. And I'm like, you guys are doing my music even here. Like, who is this? What is this? And then Alexander Brandon, who's the composer for Unreal and Unreal Tournament and stuff. He goes, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 8 years. And I'm like, you asshole. I'm a bad friend. So I'm so happy I promised this. You're all my people. Games and music.
Let me extend a personal thank you. One of my volunteers on my team in the volunteer coordination room, Stops. He loves Halo, and he kept coming back to me like every couple hours. He's like, I ran into Mario again. I was so excited. He was like okay with me talking to him about Halo for hours, and I'm sure many other people had a similar story about you this weekend. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
And just to loop things in on the hotel side, I ended up sitting with several of my hotel contacts to watch the community orchestra Saturday morning, and they all recognized the Halo music right out. They were all like, yeah.
So, guys, also, here's your unbelievable story. You're sitting in closing ceremonies, and Mario O'Donnell's just sitting right in the middle of it. Yeah, there you go. I had some photos of unbelievable stories from the event. I wanted to focus on one. This one in particular. Here's a picture of Mark shotgunning an apple juice at a MAGFest event. Which is, and here's a picture of Mark making badges for an In-N-Out trip. It's okay. There were stories. How many of you guys? This one might be a little trickier if you aren't like a super creative type, but I have faith in you. How many of you guys created content you wanted to see here at MAGFest? All right. How many of you guys went out and you can put your hands back up in a second. How many of you guys participated in a jam space or in jam clinic or did something cool in the hallway or did something in makerspace? Or how many of you guys started one of the community-run tournaments in consoles or arcade or in LAN? All right. Give me a show of hands. I'll take some stories. Right over here. Black Splitter. Yeah.
I just showed one of my songs at electronic music producer Show and Tell.
Okay. Showing off music composed at Show and Tell. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Blue hat.
Yep, I did the jam clinic. That was really fun.
Jam clinic. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I was part of a group of people who play Pokemon Black and White 2 who got together to do some of the multiplayer features. There was a sign, we walked around with the sign and advertised on some of the socials, and we all got together yesterday in the afternoon, and we did it.
Awesome. All right, one more story. Anyone else?
Pikachu?
Yeah, Pikachu. Go for it.
Getting to teach people how to use the sewing machine in the makerspace.
Sewing machine, makerspace. How many of you guys went down? Who checked out makerspace this weekend? Sorry, I think we did ask this. Makerspace is just such a cool thing in general. It started as one of our events, which is now kind of defunct. Mag Labs was a creator-themed MAGFest event, and the team from there was very passionate about their creator spaces and just kind of started a room here at MAGFest. And that is the kind of thing when I say creating the content you want to see. One of our big core values, which I ran through, is participation. We want you guys to feel that you are able to bring things you are passionate about, because the likely chance is that if you are passionate about something in a convention full of 20,000 other nerds just like you, you're likely going to find other people who are just as passionate about things that you are. So if there's an idea for content or an idea for a space that you have, you can absolutely reach out to us anytime. contact@magfest.org. We'd love to hear about it. We try our best to provide spaces for people to create content. Stuff like our jam pods, where we just put tape on the floor and we say, play music here. You bring whatever you want. You can play for as long as you have time. If there's demand for the space, you're limited to like 30 minutes or something. And there's sometimes some noise requirements because, we have to have some kind of control, but we really want people to be able to create content. So think about that for next year, because you are coming back next year, right? All right. Think about the kind of content that you want to create and make plans for it. Let us know how we can help. We would love to hear from you. Okay? Anyone got any notes on that? That's awesome. And finally, how many of you guys got a chance to volunteer and make the event even better? Show of hands, yeah. Show off your fancy staff badge. All right. Volunteering, I just got to promote it because it's my job. MAGFest would not run if it wasn't for volunteers. Of the entire MAGFest events company, which hosts multiple year-round events or multiple events each year, we have a volunteer base of about 18, maybe 2,000 volunteers across all of our events. And we have a full-time office staff of currently 6 people. Yeah. The count sometimes changes, but it's about 5 or 6 people, and those people could not do this at all. Their full-time job is dedicated to making sure that the company is okay. The events themselves are firmly in the hands of volunteers. The content decisions, who does what, the concerts you saw, the guests we have, that's all in the hands of volunteers. And if that is something that interests you, that you could get cool resources and do cool things, reach out to us. stops@magfest.org, staffing operations, that's how you can get in contact with us. And we also get cool perks, like free t-shirts, free lanyards. We'll give you free hotel space that you can crash in if you do enough hours. You can check all that out online at, I think, magfest.org or super.magfest.org/volunteer. And then final note, because we needed a 10th rule, we just put Proto Man in. I think we asked about the Proto Man. You guys followed the code of conduct. I am hopeful that none of you guys ended up in hotel jail, which is just the drunk tank in public safety. I did have to talk to one staffer who ended up in hotel jail, and yeah. This is one of yours, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. One of your kids. Yep. Reminders, there's the map, and then that's the end. That's the end of closing ceremonies. So before we roll in the feedback panel, I just want to one more time thank you guys so much for coming out to MAGFest. It has been such a great event this year. I've got some numbers for you if you don't mind. Because you might have heard that this was the first year that MAGFest at the Gaylord sold out. And it was at the Gaylord. You know, the last time we saw that was in 2011 at the Hilton Mark Center down in Alexandria. It has been a long time. The what?
2009.
2009.
Sorry.
Mag 11 in 2009. That's the mistake. It's been such a long time since something like this has happened. We had no idea what was going to happen. We were watching the badge numbers go down. We were like, I think we're going to sell out. And then about a month before the event, we were like, I think we're going to sell it on like Saturday. And this is going to really suck because people are going to show up and they're going to have to go home. And then we got to about Monday of this week and we were like, I think we're going to sell it on like Thursday or Friday. And then we got to Wednesday night and we were like, we have less than 2,000 badges left. And then we got to the point at which our volunteers were picking up their badges on Wednesday night and we were like, we have 40 badges left. The number just kept going down and down. And eventually we sold out. And you guys, through your passion, we were able to basically sell out before the event even started. We were on site, but attendees hadn't been able to pick up their badges yet.
And from the logistics side of that, I would like to thank you very deeply.
Yeah.
That solved many problems.
Yeah. What that means is that now we have a whole new set of problems to solve. But we are so excited to start working on them to figure out what it means for some of the things that were pain points for people. Like a lot of people who weren't able to make it this year, they were looking for badges online. We can talk about some of that stuff. I'm sure there'll be a feedback thread on like the Reddit and stuff where people who aren't able to attend can post feedback. But it is going to be a new chapter for us from this point. I was talking to a couple of volunteers, and someone said it really does feel like we're turning the final page on this chapter of MAGFest. And if you are here at this event, realize that things are just going to be different now, and I think they're going to be different in a really good way for us. On that note, we had checked in, we had sold, I believe, 22,500 badges. And we have checked in 20,510 people. So 20,000 people here on site. That's notably not our largest event, not in terms of people here present on site, but it is the first time we've sold that many badges. So thank you guys so much for all the support, all the time over the years. It is really, really great to have you all here and to make this community what it is. This is my 10th year at MAGFest. It's my 8th year kind of in my role. And every year I am always like blown away by the support and the passion that you guys bring to this. I am so excited for the future. I know I've said it a million times, but I really want to know what's next, and I'm so excited to explore it all with you guys. So, do you guys have anything else you'd like to add? We're all good?
We're good.
By the power invested in me by the MAGFest Board of Directors and Executive Director, I would like to declare MAGFest 2024 is officially closed.
Well, we're going into feedback next.
So, if this was all you wanted to do was just hear about the event, you're welcome to go. If you have feedback for us, you want to hear us talk about some things, come on up to the front here. We'll have a microphone, and you can kind of read off some stuff and do some chatting.
Really quick.
I think it's just because the room is
smaller. I think you improved concerning disabled people 80%, but I'm going to tell you what I experienced today. Some people weren't watching where they're going, and they would come near me. Yeah, having the disabled people go in front of the...
excuse me, guys. Can you just try to keep it a little bit down as you make your way out? Thank you.
Makes it easier. I'm a disabled veteran. So I found 2 bathrooms, disabled bathrooms, trashed. And one was really trashed down by the maker space. It's just like someone went in there and on purpose, destroyed the bathroom and so for disabled people. Then there was another bathroom near the where the auction was that was, bad. Another person in the, maybe you need to make the corridors bigger in your, where they sell stuff. I had literally someone come up, grab my, that's when you were around, Walter, grabbed my my wheel walker, and literally moved it on me because he had to get by. So people have to learn that disabled people have rights too, especially ones that have sworn to the Constitution of the United States to protect their rights. So that's my experience. I mean, a couple of years ago, I had one of those vendors who had a pinball machine on it. Literally wasn't watching where he going and hit my left leg. Ooh. And I had to take physical therapy for over a year. The guy wouldn't give me his name, things like that. I mean, and then I had to go to the emergency and ice pack. I mean, it was just a bad experience. So you really need to make improvements concerning disabled people. Sure. Like people not looking through their cell phones, walking along and bumping into you, or it's just it's not right.
Thank you for letting us know. And I will say I had a conversation on Friday, actually, with the leadership of the Gaylord National Hotel, and I told them, in sort of the way that you can when, we're here, we've been here for over 10 years and such like that, that a lot of investment needed to be made into improving the accessibility of the Gaylord National. We have a good relationship with the Gaylord. It's kind of like where you can tell a family member, hey, you're great, but you really need to do better on this, and it's important.
What's important is because it's in the Constitution of the United States under the 1991 Disability Act and the Veterans Administration, Section 4212. And they can be fined horribly.
And I made clear that, yes, there are absolutely guidelines in the Americans with Disabilities Act, but they needed to go beyond that because there were, there's, keeping to the letter of the law, and then there's ensuring everybody feels welcome and can enjoy their property and their experience here. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
I hope everyone gets back home safe.
Yeah, I do want to just add one more note for you. We do have a team called Accessibility. They were set up at the front of the Expo E.
They were perfect.
Okay. Yeah. If you do have issues, you can always feel free to reach out to them when you're on site. Their email is accessibility@magfest.org, or you can visit their booth at the front of Expo E. Just as a note for future years, if you do have issues, like please don't hesitate to reach out to that team. If you have an
Right by experience.
sure, yeah. If you wouldn't mind just writing that up and also sending it to them, I'm sure they would appreciate to hear that.
So thank you very much.
Blue tags and the white tags. I mean, that was great.
Oh, wonderful thing.
Awesome.
The business, the bathroom experience.
Yeah. All right.
Y'all have a nice, safe trip back.
Thank you. You too. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hey, so two-part question about those charity tattoos. One, has the Gaylord already come back to you and said, you guys are crazy, don't do that ever again, or could we possibly do it again next year?
I can't make any comment on that. I mean, you can make more comment than I can probably.
At this point, we feel that it's a feature that we'll be able to that we'll be able to return if the charity department wants to do it.
Okay, because I was going to say the other part of it was that if, since it seems like it was a success, if we could, if like the artists could accept like custom designs ahead of time, but in like some sort of a queue or something they could choose to accept or whatever, that could be a pretty cool thing too. But yeah, I think that was a really cool idea and a really cool new thing to do for charity. So whoever had that idea, good on them for making it happen.
That is 100% Little Steve.
I've been working on that for years.
You mentioned the one that sold out. I believe that was actually my first MAGFest.
Okay.
So I've been here through the full cycle now, so that's very cool. This is more just a question for my own edification and curiosity. Was there a reason for the 2-week delay this year, and are we back to the first weekend next year, or is that still up in the air?
Long story short is that we are flexible with the Gaylord as to where we can fit in. They know that we generally want to be in January, and so this is the weekend that fit.
Okay.
And so because otherwise, like if we had to have a particular weekend, the prices would shoot up a lot.
Okay.
So we're not prepared to announce next year's dates yet.
Yeah, because I remember the year where it got pushed to February, and that screwed over a lot of people. I'm assuming this wasn't nearly as bad.
Oh, no. That was a very specific situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you.
Hello. So I've been coming here for years. I love it. I usually end up spending a lot of my time in the console area playing a bunch of games on like the different consoles, Smash and PS4, 360, stuff like that. Something I've been noticing though is that with the consoles, specifically the newer ones and the ones that can be updated over like a network, they are out of date, and I think it's more. I wouldn't say it's a big problem, but I would say it's more of an annoyance and an inconvenience for someone like me and other people that when we want to play like different games, like say like fighting game related video games, that we want to try and play on the latest and updated patch or a version of a game, because otherwise it doesn't really necessarily provide the, I would say, maybe not optimal, but like the actual experience that you would have in playing that game up to that point. Now, I love this con, and I love it that like for a while it was fully updated compared to like other cons that don't update their stuff for like, like 5, 6, 7 years. But I think there needs to be maybe set like a day or a certain period of time where you can take the equipment that you use for the consoles that can be updated, update the software of like, what's on that, as well as the patches for the games that are on those systems.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Just for context, I'm not ignoring you. I'm typing on my phone these notes.
No problem.
Yeah.
And I'm scribing pretty much everything.
I'll mention this year we had logistics areas with our issues with our warehouse where actually longer than before the event than I would have cared for. We basically filled the entire warehouse, and there was no room to pull consoles out and do updates. So we were scrambling to do basically all of that stuff from Monday. So we're working on fixing that next year. So hopefully we can.
Gotcha.
ramp
Okay.
these
I
issues.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. So thank you very much for the excellent convention. It was awesome. Had a good time. Something I was kind of thinking about is for both either the Rock Band or the Rocksmith when they're up and running, would it be possible to get 2 setups at a time to maybe kind of cut down on the wait time?
I don't know. Sorry, I usually know enough that I can answer every question, but I have to talk to the team about that.
Yeah.
I'll take that note. I know that they're independent. We have our consoles team, which are all volunteers, and then they have smaller groups that they kind of subcontract certain spaces out to. Rock Band and Rocksmith are 2 of those groups, so that would be a conversation for that team to have with our consoles department. But I will pass that note along to them.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you guys specifically for adding the rewashable, reusable earplugs into the volunteer kits this year. I have hearing damage, and so it was really great to not have to track down disposable earplugs that I'm going to have to throw away every time I go into the concert hall. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
I just want to say thanks.
That was you.
That was me.
Hey y'all, this is my second MAGFest and first one volunteering. It was fun all throughout. One thing, I was working registration, and after it sold out, I had 2 people. One of them was a father and daughter come by and show me a QR code which led nowhere. I thought, oh no, he's been scammed. So my thing is, like certain concerts and other events, are there any plans for there to be a reselling system hosted by MAGFest on the website so people who can't come can just resell their tickets instead of scalpers taking over that market?
We do currently have a system for that. If you go into your registration link, there is a transfer link that you can give to someone else, and that'll give them an empty page that they can then claim your badge, basically, and it'll transfer your badge to them, and you can work out payment. One issue that we have in particular is whoever is paying for that new badge has never had any contact with us. We don't have their email. I don't really have any way to preempt that system. So a scammer is the first person they'll hear from in that case. If, as best we can, we're getting the word out that any badges to MAGFest will come from a magfest.org domain, and we're just going to work on communication as best we can.
Yeah,
that is an issue we're very aware of and we're very concerned about.
It's more or less a brand new issue for us this year because you could always buy badges at the door. Our teams are already talking about it. One of the ideas I heard thrown out, this might not be what we do in the future, but one of the ideas I heard thrown out was partnering with one of the ticket resellers like SeatGeek or StubHub to prevent scalping, but also to help us transfer tickets as with an official platform that people know and are somewhat comfortable with.
Okay,
so we're looking into it.
All right, cool. The last thing is I signed up with 3 departments for volunteering. Got emails from 2 of them. The third one being crowd management. I bounced between 2 different places trying to figure out who I reported to. So if there were any departments that didn't send out emails prior to, this is my first year volunteering. I was just walking into this blind. I'm like, so where do I show up for this shift? Who helps me? And that was also my first shift volunteering on Wednesday night. Yeah. So if that could be addressed, it would solve a bit of confusion and 30 minutes of walking back and forth between different places.
Sure.
But not a big deal. Everything got sorted in the end. So thank y'all.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a really specific feedback. So I spent a lot of time in the expo halls, bouncing around, arcade, consoles, whatever. But one of the things I like to do to kind of chill out is sit in the console room, just kind of because it's not as noisy in there, whatever. But something I noticed all weekend, and I actually noticed it last year, but could have just been a one-off thing. But every night around midnight in the console room, this group would set up karaoke at the Bring Your Own Switch, and it was so obnoxiously loud. You could hear it all the way through the console rooms, and I just feel I don't think there's a problem with having that kind of community, but that's what the jam spaces are for. Like, if you want that big kind of group coming in to sing whatever, I feel like consoles isn't the place to do it. And every time it like started to happen, I left the consoles because it was like I can't even concentrate on what I'm doing. So
I know exactly what you were talking about. I walked by them and I was like, geez, I wish that this wasn't so loud. They were not particularly on key.
As far as panels, I will say, not much this year, but in previous years, we've actually had saying says, hey, can we do karaoke in a room? So I know for a fact there is people want to do that. And trying to find the right space for that. That, I think, is the true issue, because if we don't allow that, we're just going to have the opposite. It's like, we want to do karaoke. And, yeah, it's hard, right? Just to try to find the right spaces for those things.
Thank you.
Hi, this was my third MAGFest. Thank you all for all the work that you guys do and making this a really good experience. Most of my feedback, I'll keep it as brief as I possibly can. It's just centered around communicating with the attendees. We all use the guidebook. That is like our main hub for understanding how to navigate. And I often find that it's crashing or that there's no connection when you're in the exhibit halls or like on this lower floor. And if there's any way that like your organization can either help us like get that Wi-Fi or like strengthen that connection, or maybe give some back-end support so that the app isn't crashing when like all thousands of us are using it, that would be super helpful. Also, I happen to have photosensitivity, so like a lot of the places that are like for MAGFest tend to have like flashing lights and stuff, but those weren't like discussed in the guidebook, and that could be a potentially very serious medical situation for someone who isn't aware that they might be entering a space that has flashing lights. So like seizure warnings might be great, or any sort of standardization in how the descriptions for panels and events are made on the guidebook might be really helpful. Doesn't have to be like you have to remove all of your unique voice for your description. It can just be like, here's like the main parts that need to be communicated to the audience so that they know like, what are you doing? Any like warnings and like where to find you or contact you. Or like for Makerspace, right? It's very difficult to like get into those events, and there's like a whole system that Makerspace has developed now for ticketing. It would be great if those were just laid out in the instructions for the events as well. Also with like the volunteering, I also tried to volunteer, but there really isn't a standardized process for communicating with folks that are staff or that can help me figure out how do I get shifts and stuff like that, other than like maybe getting an email. So any support with standardizing that would also really, really help.
Yeah, the standard process is basically sign up and then show up. But you're right, some teams are a lot better about reaching out to their volunteers ahead of the event. That is something that is on my mind. So know that that's not a new thing for me.
No, I understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have heard similar things about Guidebook.
Yeah,
if
I got
anyone
like
goes to
pages of feedback for Guidebook that we'll talk later about.
If anyone goes to another event and you're like really happy with their schedule or something, I would love to know about it. Just drop us a line at contact@magfest.org. We've looked at a few other vendors, we've looked at other options, and
uses their own, and it's really good.
We're
They're like national conventions all over the country. I don't know what it is, but theirs always works and even has like an offline mode. So
yeah, we're seriously considering writing our own. It's at that point. Yeah.
I got to run, but I wanted to ask if anyone in this line has a volunteering or departmental feedback, like, hey, the volunteer was shitty to me, or I didn't like this about volunteering myself, or anything like that.
I'll still be here taking notes for whatever feedback. So
Yeah, it's just I can respond to you in the next 5 minutes. If not, that's okay. But otherwise, yeah. You want to come up front and grab the mic real quick?
So it's kind of a 2-in-1. So sorry about putting another one in there. First, it's my 10th MAGFest in. I love everything about it. This year was incredible. I got to run my first game tournament here. The staff was incredibly helpful with that setup and all of that. However, for one thing, and even as a volunteer tournament, I feel like everything should work properly when you run a tournament or have proper subs, things like that. The one tournament I was in was not. And it was a hold up as far as having the timing of it and, people want to do other things at MAGFest. We had to hold out until either things got fixed or what have you. I know things break down, whatever, but sometimes getting a feedback from the people that are playing, some people don't want to hear it, unfortunately, and that's kind of is what it is. But I still had a great time, so that's that. I just wanted to address that.
Sure.
And the big thing, two other big things. One, I found a really weird communication with registration with superstar ribbons that have not come in.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed about that because I was really looking forward to getting it and getting all the perks that came with it. So kind of not getting that wasn't a big deal, but also it's like, what do I do from there?
Yeah.
And then the other thing was hotel checkout. It was very confusing because the room I was staying in was to check out at 11 when MAGFest was supposed to be check out at 12 o'clock. So we would put out an hour earlier.
Are you in a MAGFest paid room?
I was in, say it again?
Are you in a room paid for by MAGFest?
Paid for by MAG, no.
No, you.
Oh, like not like in a room block? Or?
No.
We have like an internal room block for like staff and guests and bands.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Attendee, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to answer this if you want to.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, go for it.
Basically, it's in the welcome letter that we put on the website and that was available. Normal checkout is at 11 a.m. We've had it in our contract ever since we've been here that we get checked out at 12. So when you say that there was an issue, can you give me some information on that issue?
Yeah, so there's a group of us. We got 2 rooms this year and wanted to get like a room block to have maybe them close together or anything like that. They were pretty close as they could be for what it was. And in an email, one of the gentlemen had that it said specifically that room checkout was 12 o'clock for MAGFest attendees in the block for whatever have you. Gaylord employees said that checkout was at 11 o'clock, and that's where the confusion was. We had to rush to clean up and everything. And
now, was it housekeeping knocking on your door saying you need to be up by 11? Because, sorry, I was like when did you interact with the, sorry, say
yes,
again.
Gaylord housekeeping.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all right. Then I will note that because I do a post-con with the hotel on and let them know. I'm like, hey, don't be chasing people out of their rooms for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. So sorry about that.
That's okay. But yeah, that's all I had.
Oh,
Cool.
okay,
Thank you
good.
guys very much.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, just want to make sure no one's behind me. So first off, thank you all for a great con. This is technically my second MAGFest, but my first one was like way back when you guys were in Charlottesville, so I don't really count that. All right, but anyway, so feedback. Quick note on a couple of the other things people were talking about. Number one, I really don't think you guys should use SeatGeek or StubHub or anything like that for like resellers because like the fees are just going to like eat people alive. Number two, there is an app called Hacker Tracker that DEF CON uses, as well as a few others that might give you what you need. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the backend enough, but it might be something to look into. And my biggest point of feedback is there really needs to be some Wi-Fi for attendees. Like that's just like general Wi-Fi where you don't have to be a guest at the hotel, especially if you can't get a hotel room, which was my other problem. And the thing was, it's not just for like consoles and whatever. It's also the fact that, the apps are on, things like the guidebook, they're online and it would constantly, just interrupt for an update and I couldn't stop it. And then there's like 1,000 people hitting the cell network. You can't really do anything. You can't communicate. And there's some things in there where, you need to do things like, you need to check the Discord or whatever. And it's like, well, you can't really do that if you can't get on the cell network. So I really think there should be some Wi-Fi. If you guys don't have a dedicated NOC, you should think about putting one together.
So we do have a dedicated NOC. We deploy about 100 of our own access points during the event.
Right.
But providing coverage to 20,000 people is a challenge on many axes. And
It
we have enough
is.
issue covering staff and vendors.
It is, and I understand, but
it is absolutely a pie-in-the-sky goal. We're moving more and more in that direction, but that's going to be a step change.
Yeah, and it's kind of a thing where it's like, and mostly I just mention it because like a lot of the stuff that that you're expected to do with is online. And this ties into another piece of feedback, another major piece of feedback I have, which was with signups for various things.
Okay.
So I cannot count. There were a number of times this weekend where I walked up to something and we were like, "Oh, are you signed up?" "Oh, no." "Okay, well, we're full up. Sorry." And I had to go turn away. And it was like, okay. And the chance where I did realize there was a sign-up process, it was like, okay, well, first you need to go and log into Discord and join this Discord server and, put this on the website and things. This was for LAN in specific.
Oh, okay.
For a LAN tournament. And it was like, okay, well, you got to sign up on the website, and then you've got to link your Discord account, and then you've got to do all these other things. I couldn't get on the Discord fast enough, and I lost my ability to participate in, the one tournament I was interested in all weekend because of that.
Okay.
And but there's other things too, where it's like there are lots of things where it's like they don't really mention that they require sign up, and every sign up process is different. Sometimes you walk up to the help desk and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign you in. Let me scan your badge." And others are just like, "Okay, you just go on the website and fill out this Discord notification and fill out this whole thing."
Yep.
And that's the thing where it's like, okay, I think there needs to be one better communication of when signups are needed for an event. And, maybe into some kind of more standardized sort of, okay, here's what the sign up thing is.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Okay. That's a very good note. Down in the expo hall, we've unified signups across all of our tournaments. I didn't actually realize LAN was doing their own system, but it's a very good note to know we need to unify that better and notate it better.
I think you're noting because even though my friends in Makerspace, they have their own process to make sure that do that. And of course, this is the first year, as someone who attended 10 years in staff, this is the first year I did autographs. And that has its own system. And that's different than what you dealt with. Right. So I understand of at least one process, which would be a multi-department thing.
Thank you. That's very actionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure that if it requires online signups, make sure there's a way for people to get online.
Right.
Because that it's gonna suck when they can't get on. For not having Wi-Fi things.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
The mask usually makes things worse. So 2 bits of feedback. The first is, registration hotel sold out very quickly. I'm sure that's well known and is being worked on, so I'm not really going to go into that. What's more important is that I was understood, especially have to go into the subreddit. Okay, well, eventually people cancel. There'll probably be some rooms available. Well, okay, so I'm like, there's a news feed on the website. I'll subscribe to the feed with my feed reader, and I'll literally have this stupid thing check every 5 minutes and make my phone not shut up in case it happens, right? And nothing. In fact, that feed has not been updated since the hotel thing has happened. And at some point, I don't know if it was my idea or if the subreddit's idea, I was like, okay, well, maybe they posted something on X or something. And so I go into there, there's nothing relevant there at all. I go back to the subreddit, someone points out a post over there, and that's when I learned that X no longer shows things in chronological order. So that's not your fault, that's Elon's fault, but yeah, so I ended up having to put it through a Twitter proxy in order to actually get that in chronological order. My feedback is, can we get important things like that? And also there was things about last minute, so like the fact registration was sold out and a few other things. Can we please make sure that is all in the news feed? Because
is this an RSS feed generated off our website?
It's an RSS feed that's also in the section called news. So like literally just posting further updates in that news should generate a new feed.
Okay.
But even just in general, if the section called news, I think it's pretty clear that's where it's going to be.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that every single thing you post on social media needs to be put up there, but if it's something big enough that you need to get the word out, I'd say maybe make like a 2-paragraph post, throw it on there, just so that it's very obvious, as opposed to even if someone is on social media, it would be buried in all of the other things and no one would notice.
Yeah, that may be something we can fix on the back end. Most of our updates go out as actual edits to the hotel page rather than being a fresh post.
Okay.
So I can see if that's something we can change.
Oh, so you're not using like a CMS or something?
It is.
Well, I mean, I've I manage the hotel page. I did notice that the news page was a little out of date because I thought, oh, maybe I should throw something over there. Oh, there's nothing there. And so that's already on my radar also. But I also try to, work pretty hard, pertinent information up top. I have a change log at the bottom, all of that. But we can certainly, I think, do better to just say, hey, there's been a hotel update. Go over to the hotel page.
Yeah.
And things like that so you can see what it is. I will say with a lot of the availability for rooms and such like that, it certainly went a lot quicker than we thought. So it's hard.
Yeah, that, like I said, I'm sure that's well aware. That wasn't what I was bringing up. It was annoying. It was very annoying because it's freaking cold out. But that's out of people's control, and it definitely is going to be a prior for next week, I'm sure. But the news thing, like if any part of the website updates that is significant, I think it should have a section in there, because otherwise you're pretty much left to your own devices to just remember to check and check everywhere.
Yep.
And yeah, so I think that part's really important.
Thank you.
So second one, since I don't want to end it on purely a downer, I still can't believe that you guys pulled off that orchestra Saturday morning and actually having Marty O'Donnell himself come here.